Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And welcome to the State of the Saints podcast live on YouTube. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. Whether you're looking at this on YouTube, Facebook, or you're listening to the audio version, thank you very much for your time. Today's topic of conversation, we're going to be talking about, is Jameis Winston an upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater? Now, this is a very interesting question. I know a lot of people may not look at it this way, but this is a very intriguing question because there are a lot of people out there that are extremely upset that Teddy Bridgewater is now playing for the Carolina Panthers. There are a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation wish that the New Orleans Saints would have indeed kept Teddy Bridgewater and probably were hoping that Drew Brees retires so he could be their successor. Be his successor, excuse me. And then you have Jameis Winston, man, a guy who threw 30 interceptions last season, but has been a starter in the league ever since he got into the league, and he was the first pick overall coming out of Florida State. So, is Teddy Bridgewater a better quarterback than Jameis Winston? Is Jameis Winston a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater? That is the topic of conversation. And if you ask me, do I feel like Jameis Winston is better than Teddy Bridgewater? The answer to that question to me is yes. Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. And I'm not talking about skill now. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about confidence. The one element I feel Jameis Winston has over Teddy Bridgewater is confidence. Jameis Winston, regardless of what you have to say about this guy, whether you want to talk about him throwing interceptions, you want to call him Mr. Pick Six, you can say he didn't have more turnovers than any bakery that you ever heard of. Whatever you want to say about him, a guy that can throw 30 interceptions and in week 17 go into a press conference after he threw 2 interceptions and says that all he has to do is cut down on interceptions and I'll be the best quarterback in the league. It's rather you're smoking some very high-grade weed or you have a lot of confidence in yourself. And Jameis Winston has a lot of confidence in himself, and that's something I feel like Teddy Bridgewater didn't have from time to time. Now, I feel like he developed it over the course of a few weeks, but I still felt like Teddy Bridgewater had a level of uncertainty about him. I was very skeptical about if Teddy Bridgewater could lead the Saints to the Super Bowl. I was very skeptical and thinking about, can Teddy Bridgewater truly get the keys to the kingdom and we actually be celebrating him and cheering and revering him like we are right now, him being no longer with the New Orleans Saints and all us saying woulda, shoulda, coulda. Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. That's just what it is. And we can talk about even before Teddy got hurt. Teddy wasn't shocking the world, wasn't killing us with numbers, even though he had a Pro Bowl appearance. But, I mean, what is that? A Pro Bowl appearance don't really mean that much. I mean, what do you have, about 18 touchdowns, 14 picks? You know what I'm saying? Second season before he got hurt, very mediocre to say the least. At least Jameis Winston, man, one thing that you can't say about him, he was throwing the ball, you know what I'm saying, and he was, scoring touchdowns and stuff like that. He just need to cut down on the picks. Honestly, like if I were just a GM, if I was just looking at who I feel like if I wanted to move forward post Drew Brees and I had Teddy Bridgewater and I had Jameis Winston as my quarterbacks, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not even just saying that because he signed with the Saints now. I would choose Jameis Winston because I love a confident quarterback. I love a quarterback that has confidence in himself and his ability. Okay, it may not pan out. He may not be the best quarterback of all time. He may end up losing me some games. But at the end of the day, he has confidence in himself and believes in himself that he can get the job done. So I would choose that guy over a guy who I feel like isn't really too much sure about himself. And honestly, you know what I'm saying, pretty much a nickel and dime, penny and quarterback that just matriculate the ball down the field. And I think we tend to forget that at times because time moves on and we move past the subjects, and all of us seem like we don't realize that you all send me some of these emails and talking about what's wrong with the big plays, why we don't have big plays. And it wasn't just because of Drew Brees now. It was when Teddy Bridgewater was in the lineup. It wasn't until that game against, ironically, Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did we even see Teddy Bridgewater throw the ball down the field. So, who's to say that the same thing would not happen if Teddy Bridgewater was in the lineup? To me, if I were choosing a quarterback, if I were just choosing it based on just confidence in their ability, arm talent, and I'm just talking about just overall, I would choose Jameis Winston. Let's see. Drew Brees says Jameis Winston's jersey number is number 2. I know his jersey number is number 2, Drew Brees, but there's very few photoshops of Jameis Winston on there, and I just thought that picture was pretty cool, so I put it on there. But that's just the reason I put it on there. I mean, I know we like to pay attention to details and everything kind of stands out, but I like the picture, man. I thought the picture, the animation was pretty cool by both of them, so that's the one I chose. Kieran says, "What's good, TJ?" Jerry, what's going on? Jerry says, "Hey, TJ, let's change. I think it depends on what you want, but I think Teddy should have stayed." Hindsight is 2020. I mean, but I look at this two ways. This kind of speaks to the hypocrisy of the Who Dat Nation. I'm just calling for what it is. The only reason why we're yelling and screaming, talking about we wish Teddy Bridgewater would have stayed right now is because we actually seen him play. If we were basing this on Week 17 against the Carolina Panthers back in 2018, we'll be singing a different tune. If we were basing this based on the 2019 preseason, we'll be singing a different tune. The only reason why we're saying that we wish he would have stayed and not left is because we actually saw him play. And we saw him win 5 games. That's the only reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are prisoners. We are prisoners of the now. That's the reason. I'm telling you, I wasn't seeing people saying these type of things when Teddy Bridgewater was holding a clipboard. Hindsight is 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I tend to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like, would I like to see Teddy Bridgewater as the starting quarterback of the Saints to get the opportunity? Yes. But at the same time, I understand that people had a different opinion about Teddy Bridgewater. You know what I'm saying? They had a different opinion about Teddy Bridgewater before he started winning games. I mean, like I said, I got the emails. Okay, I don't delete emails. Okay, I got emails of people saying, "Man, nah, Teddy ain't ready. Teddy ain't it." I was one of them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to just throw everybody under the bus. I was one of those folks. And you know what I'm saying? He did change the narrative. But like I said, who's to say that he ends up playing the way that he does? Who's to say that the Saints would be as good with Teddy Bridgewater as the starting quarterback? I can't base that off of 5 games. I can name several quarterbacks that end up, you know what I'm saying, getting big-time contracts and then pan out. For example, some of you may know who I'm talking about. A quarterback by the name of Elvis Gervais. He you know what I'm saying, he went to the 49ers, thought that he was going to be the truth. Left the 49ers, got a contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, played 2 good years, and then went to Baltimore after they won the Super Bowl in 2000 and did absolutely nothing. Okay, Scott Mitchell, back in the early 90s, he backed up Dan Marino. Dan Marino tore his Achilles. Scott Mitchell came up in that thing, tore the world up, signed the 3-year, $11 million contract with the Detroit Lions, and looked like straight up hot garbage. Like I said, hindsight is 2020, man. I'm not saying, that I wouldn't take Teddy Bridgewater or even try to take that risk. But for me to be sitting up here like, dang, man, we let our future Super Bowl winning quarterback of the future go. Nah, bro. Like, slow your roll. I never thought that Teddy Bridgewater could lead the Saints to the Super Bowl. And I still don't believe that. I feel like he could have led them to the playoffs. But when a game on the line, chips on the table, do I feel like he can go toe-to-toe with some of the, like a Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson? Hells to the no. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. I mean, I feel like he can win games, but when it's time to like take that game to the next level, absolutely not. I'm not buying it. Teddy has a better personality, better decision maker. Jameis has everything else. Man, we see that Teddy has a good personality. Like I say, I think, and that's another thing too. I think we fall in love. I think we in love with Teddy Bridgewater's personality more so we're in love with his talent. We like to see him dance at the end of games doing a motorbike, and he brings us joy in that regards. And I think sometimes like we just get sucked in as fans because of that. I don't care how good he can dance. I can care less. Like, can you throw touchdowns? Can you throw multiple touchdowns? I don't know. Teddy needs a Teddy needs a better. We should have never let Teddy go. It's ridiculous. What's up, TJ, the host? I seen a post about the Bucs trying to sign Antonio Brown. What's your opinion on that? If they do sign him, good luck to him. I hope that I hope that he end up like getting a job. I don't have nothing against Antonio Brown. I hope he getting his life together. I think that his issues, that he dealing with, I don't think football needs to be nowhere in the equation. I think he needs to better himself and get himself the help that he needs. Teddy fits this city better. Every Saints fan has laughed at Jameis for years. We saw Jameis stink up the joint. That's not being a prisoner of the moment. Jameis sucks. Let's put it to you like this. You saying that Jameis Winston sucks, but Jameis Winston doesn't suck. No, you know what I'm saying? You don't throw for 5,000 yards and suck. And like I said, Saints fans are prisoners of the moment. How can you say he better fits the city? What has he done? What has he done? Like, honestly, Teddy Bridgewater, he won 5 games, but did he like the city on fire by his play? Absolutely not. You're lying to yourself if you saying that he lit the city on fire. I seen that defense turn up. I mean, excuse me. How many points did they score against the Cowboys? Wasn't I getting like emails talking about what happened to the big plays downfield? Teddy Bridgewater can't get the ball downfield. Come on, man. Let's stop playing. The only reason, like, we love animated characters in a Who Dat Nation. That's why we like Alvin Kamara so much. We fell in love with Alvin Kamara, because of the most of our love for Alvin Kamara, not just about his play. It's about the interviews that he had with Mark Ingram. Him and Mark Ingram acting silly after games or before games. That's what we like. We like animated characters. That's why we like Cam Jordan so much. An animated character. That's what we fall in love with all the time. We don't be having nothing to do with what they play. You know what I'm saying? And if it does have something to do with what they play, it's probably about 30%. 70, but I'm telling you, like, if a dude make some people in the Who Dat Nation laugh, not everybody, but if he makes them laugh, or he dances, or he's a fun guy, and all of a sudden, like, we just fall in love with the guys. Like, man, like, Teddy Bridgewater did not set the world on fire, and it's not to a point where I'm sitting up here shedding tears like we just lost the second coming of Patrick Mahomes or something, man. Like, knock it off. Like, would Teddy Bridgewater win us some games? Yes. Is Teddy Bridgewater a better decision maker than Jameis Winston? Yes. But can you emphatically say that Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston? You cannot. What have you seen? Honestly, for the exception of the Buccaneers game where he threw 4 touchdowns against a team that really didn't have no secondary, what can you say that Teddy Bridgewater actually did that will tell you, oh, he will lead us to future, to future playoff appearances and Super Bowl appearances? I ain't see much. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, but that's what we do. Like, we love that. You know what I'm saying? We love characters. Like, man, I ain't about to say, like I said, I would love to have Teddy Bridgewater in a Saints uniform. But to say that he was the future of the Saints, man, knock it off. We ain't seeing enough. Sup, TJ and my Who Dat family, giving y'all some Corona-free love from Italy. Yeah, man, what's going on, Herman, man? Appreciate you checking in all the way from Italy. Jameis never lit anything on fire. He has always been horrible. Was he horrible at Florida State? Was he horrible when he won a Heisman? Was he horrible when he was what? Wasn't he offensive rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken? You could make an argument that if Lovie Smith probably would have still been his coach, he would have been better off. His interceptions was down, his completions was up. You can make an argument to say that go back and look at the history. I think somebody even said this. Go back and look at Bruce Arians' history of quarterbacks. Every single person that has been a quarterback for Bruce Arians always had high number of interceptions every time they had quarterback, every time they played the position of quarterback. Why? Because he liked big explosive plays. Why? Because he shies away from the running game. Why? Because, he putting the ball in the air down the field, bombs away. So Jameis Winston just falls into the number of what Carson Palmer and Ben Roethlisberger and Andrew Luck. All these guys had high interceptions. I know y'all remember that game where the Indianapolis Colts went up against the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. I mean, how many interceptions did Andrew Luck have in the first half? And who was the interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts at the time? Who was running the offense? Why, it was Bruce Arians. Let's look at Carson Palmer. Didn't he go out to Arizona? I mean, Carson Palmer was what? Ranked within the top 10 in interceptions, top 5. So you could easily make an argument and say that the reason, his turnovers went straight up to the roof to 30 was because they threw the ball all over the place. 7-step drops. And somebody please tell me, who was the running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Somebody please tell me. Somebody tell me, what did Barber do? Okay, somebody tell me, what did Barber do in order to help Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston never had a running game. Jameis Winston always had to throw the ball around about 40 times. And I know, contrary to popular belief, I know we've been having some great quarterback play over the last 15 years, but there's a reason why we say that Drew Brees is so special, because he completes over 70% of his passes. Other quarterbacks don't do that. Now, it's easy for us to look at that because we got Drew Brees, the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. So who are we comparing them to? Who are we comparing them to, man? That's all I got to say. Who are we comparing them to? And like I said, we have to agree to disagree. Jameis Winston does not suck, okay? Jameis Winston only sucks because, like I said, who has he had? I mean, I'm just thinking, dude had 3 head coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Yeah, 3 head coaches, Dirk Cutter, Lovie Smith. Like, come on, man. Like, knock it off. Like, are we going to pretend like new offensive schemes, new head coaching changes, new front office changes don't stunt the growth of a quarterback? Yeah. I mean, honestly, who knows what Alex Smith's career would have been if he didn't have to go through 7 coordinators? I mean, honestly, okay, we can even look at Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan became a world beat over the last 5 years. What was the difference? Well, the Saints weren't out here getting different defensive coordinators like they were doing in his earlier years. So he was able to get acclimated with one defensive coordinator, and now look at his stats. If you don't believe that coordinating, scheme, and coaches don't change the foundation and also change a quarterback or any other position, then you crazy. If you keep on having coaching changes over and over again, yeah, it's going to affect the way that you play. Yeah, it's going to affect the way that you get the ball downfield. That is a different scheme that you have to develop every single year. I am going to give that guy the benefit of the doubt. You can easily say that these coordinators hung on and clung on to Jameis Winston and never held him accountable. Never held him accountable for his shortcomings because they tied themselves onto him. And as long as he was out there doing good things, was doing more good things than bad things, then they were okay with it. Think about this. Jimbo Fisher got a new job. You know what I'm saying? All these different coaches hung on to Jameis Winston all this doggone time. And, they ain't really hold him accountable for nothing. Why would Tampa hold him accountable? He was supposed to be the future of the franchise. So, of course, you're going to give the future of the franchise some leniency. And nobody really held him accountable. But I guarantee you this. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but Sean Payton is going to find a way to look at the strengths that Jameis Winston possesses, and he is going to, he's going to focus in on that. And he's going to capitalize off his strengths. just like he does with every single skill position on the Saints team. He did it with Robert Meacham. He did it with Devery Henderson. Skilled guys that can, do special things, and he used it to the advantage to help the team. And I don't look at it no different when it comes to Jameis Winston. And I'm not saying that Jameis Winston is the future of the franchise. I'm not saying Jameis Winston can lead the Saints to the Super Bowl. But he's a better quarterback and has more experience than Teddy Bridgewater, in my opinion, when it comes to the confidence and when it comes to the arm strength. So I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. If you think that, honestly, man, if you like I said, I love Teddy Bridgewater. Been watching him since Louisville. But what have you seen in Teddy Bridgewater that tell you a better quarterback than Jameis Winston? Besides the fact that he don't turn the ball over. But what have you seen as far as overall skills? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You've seen absolutely nothing out of Teddy Bridgewater that can just, without a shadow of a doubt, say that he is, better than Jameis Winston. That's just what it is. You get my last few emails. Yeah, I know, probably not recently, Josh. I haven't seen it, man. But thank you for the $2. I have to check my emails. I didn't check it since the last time we had a conversation. Teddy threw 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran for some tough first downs, broke tackles from Mac at Chicago. And he ran for 2 touchdowns at Chicago with no Akeem Hicks, no Prince Amukamara, and a lot of their defensive players weren't even in the game. Straight up, man. Wow, okay. And like I say, I'm not saying that he's tough. He's not tough. I'm not saying that he's not gritty. I'm not saying that he wouldn't win games. I'm just saying, from what I actually see, I want a quarterback that can take over a game. Straight up. Now, can Teddy Bridgewater take over a game? Somebody please tell me, when did you see Teddy Bridgewater take over a game? When do you ever just see okay, man, Teddy Bridgewater, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best player on the field? When did you see this? Please tell me. Please tell me, what did he do? He fought a Seahawks team through 5 touchdowns. No, he did not. You know what I'm saying? That was Alvin Kamara all day. This man was captain check down all game long. Captain check down. Straight up. I like Teddy, but that's what he is, man. He was captain check down. Okay, the defense played lights out for 5 weeks. Why are we pretending like the defense didn't play 5 weeks? You know what I'm saying? They played lights out for 5 weeks. Top 5 defense over the last 5 weeks. Okay. You know what I'm saying? For 5 weeks, that defense played lights out. And we were saying this. Now all of a sudden, we want to defend Teddy Bridgewater. Now we're going to negate the fact that the defense played lights out. We're going to negate the fact that Deontay Harris ran back a punt for a touchdown. We're going to negate the fact that JT Gray blocked the punt in the back of the end zone. We're going to negate the fact of all those type of things. We're going to negate the fact that Alvin Kamara played like a man possessed against Seattle. All because we want to defend Teddy Bridgewater. Knock it off. Knock it off. Knock it off. I'm just being honest, man. Knock it off. Okay? I'm not, like I said, I don't know if either one of these guys gonna set the world on fire. For somebody to sit up here and just say oh man, we about to have some Tom Brady type Super Bowl, 6 Super Bowls. We were about to be a dynasty because Teddy Bridgewater was a Saint. Man, knock it off. Please knock it off. Cut it out. Teddy don't take chances, so unless you got a top 6 defense, don't plan on making it and running the playoffs. And an elite running game, which other people are not paying attention to. The Saints had lights out defense. Latavius Murray averaged 159 yards from scrimmage. The special teams was making plays. Come on. Come on, folks. Come on. Knock it off. The defense, the special teams, and the running game were top notch in the absence of Drew Brees. Everybody's antenna started to stick up when Drew Brees went out. That's what made them better. TJ, please, Teddy is better than him. If you say so. Everybody did their part for 5 weeks. Exactly. Bridgewater is a Black Brady. Great mind for the game, but not a big talent. Uh, that's debatable, Josh. That's debatable. I can count on Tom Brady to take over a game. I can't say the same thing about Teddy Bridgewater. You're gonna forget Ginn dropped a 50-yard touchdown versus the Bears, one of the best throws I've seen in a minute, and it was dropped. Okay, what happened to the other one? What happened to the other one? I can remember he made up for it for that 34-yard touchdown. It was like the longest play, you know what I'm saying? I guess since the Taysom Hill 55-yard pass. Like, come on, man. Like, we talking about one play. I'm talking about a body of work. I'm talking about, like, how many plays do Patrick Mahomes make in a game? How many plays do you see, even as trash as he has been last season, even though he's extremely overrated? How many plays have we seen Dak Prescott make? I mean, come on, man. Aaron Rodgers. Not, man, one play? One. We talking about one play. One. One lonely play. Like, man, we gotta do better, folks. We gotta do better. If we gonna come through, we need to come through. And right now, you know what I'm saying, Teddy Bridgewater, I don't feel like we missing out on nothing. I guarantee, the only reason why we're talking about this guy and giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, because we seen him play 5 games. 5. 2019 at the beginning of preseason. Do we need to go back and look at the shows? Can we go back and look at the chats? Go back and look. People were singing a different tune versus July 1st, 2020. Straight up. We were singing a whole different tune. 2018, week 17, singing a different tune. Now all of a sudden he went 5 games. Oh man, we let the future go. Ah, boy, stop it. Knock it off. Let's see, I already read that. I agree with you, TJ. Man, I'm just being real. Alvin Kamara won. Man, Alvin Kamara single-handedly beat the Seahawks. It'll be him and, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that special team play put him at the head of the curve, and that defense played lights out, and they were able to run the ball. But people forgetting, though, people talking about that Chicago game. People forgetting Latavius Murray had 110 yards rushing in that game. I mean, he had more rushing yards than he did an entire season in that game. I think people forgetting about the way the defense played in that game. I think people forgetting about that too. I think they're forgetting about the special teams block. But we beat Chicago. Teddy Bridgewater beat Chicago by itself. I'll take Taysom over Teddy B and Jameis, but that's just me. It's so much like me. Once again, I haven't seen enough out of Taysom Hill, enough for me to say that he's better. He's better than those guys. I just seen a sample size. So until Taysom Hill gets under center and plays a complete game that matters, okay? Only game, you know what I'm saying, I remember he came back, I think, in the Chargers game in preseason. I think they scored like 18 unanswered points. So, I mean, I seen that in preseason, but he was playing against guys that was delivering couches on an errands truck. You know what I'm saying? He was out there, you know, against guys, you know what I'm saying, that's the personal trainers at Lifetime and 24-hour fitness. You know, like, come on, man, you ain't playing nobody. Those guys not even in the league. Okay, Mike T dropped the touchdown versus the Rams too. Bridgewater realistically should have had 11 touchdowns and 0 picks. Hindsight is 2020. Okay, Drew Brees should have threw the ball up a little higher. You know what I'm saying, on that quick slant right before the Tommy Lee Lewis play. They, you know what I'm saying, the Saints would have, you know, extended the drive for a first down. You know what I'm saying, like, man, Ted Ginn should have caught that pass down the field. You know what I'm saying, the one they missed when he was wide open. That man, I don't know. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, like one of the defensive players should have stood up Dalvin Cook, and that fumble would have counted, the one that Von Bell brought back for a touchdown in the playoffs. Hindsight is 2020, man. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, in the words of the great Jim Mora. Aaron Brooks was better than Teddy Bridgewater. I disagree with that. Aaron Brooks was trash. Straight up 100% trash. Now, if you want to talk about trash, that's a person. Trash human being, trash player, okay? Yeah, he won one game with the Saints. the playoff game, the first playoff game the Saints ever won. But he was a trash human being. He was trash when he talked about the city of New Orleans and talked about the people. He talked about, you know what I'm saying, he was like a prima donna, talking about the facilities and stuff like that, man, at the time where people didn't even have no places to stay. And then on top of that, man, you want to throw interceptions all over the place and you know what I'm saying, and pass out turnovers like you at McKenzie's. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, you're around this thing smiling, want to show everybody all your 32s. I don't have any respect for Aaron Brooks. I mean, like I said, there's a reason why nobody really asked him to come back. There's a reason why nobody really asked him to lead the Saints chant. Because when I say who that, he the last person I can remember. He's a trash human being. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Like I mean, the way during that time when people needed hope, when people, you know what I'm saying, the one thing that the Saints, people had was the Saints. During that time when they were trying to make transitions, he could have did a better job. So I will always remember him and be forever indebted to him for leading the Saints to their first playoff win. But as a human being, like, not a fan. Teddy played good in preseason, in my opinion. I was defending him then. Yeah, Invictus, I remember you doing that. But a lot of people, not so much. Teddy B was with multiple teams. He's not a premier quarterback. Our defense played lights out. And the special teams, that's why we won those games. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. This might be controversial, but it is what it is. I feel like Teddy Bridgewater would got to be on a team that has an elite lights out defense in order for him to succeed. Like, I feel like I'm not putting him in his category. I feel like he's a little better than this guy. But he has to be like in a Trent Dilfer type situation where you have the 2000 Ravens who were just shutting people out and shutting them down defensively. And then he comes out there, you know what I'm saying, get the ball down the field and make no mistakes. That's the way I see Teddy Bridgewater being successful in the league. If it comes down to Teddy Bridgewater having to take over a game, if it counts for Teddy Bridgewater to throw the ball down the field, mano quarterback battle, I don't see that happening. Things got to be working, and things got to be lined up. The stars have to be aligned in order for Teddy Bridgewater to succeed. And you have to be honest with yourself. The 5 weeks where Drew Brees was out, that's probably was the best Saints football you've seen in about 10 years. Defensively, offensively, with special teams. Okay, that's probably the best you've probably seen the Saints play collectively as a group in years. Let's face it, we really need Blake Bortles. For what? For water boy? Shoot, that's about it. Water boy, Gatorade duty, juicy fruit duty. Because we definitely don't need Blake Bortles as a quarterback. Straight, hot, garbage, trash, clipboard personified. Man, that boy shouldn't be nowhere near nobody field unless he's trying to cut it. Blake Bortles is an embarrassment and a waste of a draft pick, man. And I saw that coming. I never was sold on Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles had a really good year with Central Florida. And I seen him in a Fiesta Bowl, and they just so happened to win that Fiesta Bowl game he played in, and everybody was like, Blake Bortles. And I'm like, I don't see it, bro. I see smoke and mirrors. And then on top of that, man, he has no confidence. When he was at Jaguars camp, he threw 5 interceptions in practice, and he walking around with his head down, but yet you got a C on your chest, man. Something ain't right there. Something is wrong there. Okay, if you got a C on your chest, man, you should never have your head down. You're a captain. You're a leader. Okay, you got that C on your chest for a reason. Okay, so by him doing something like that, putting his head down, that's where he lost respect from his teammates. And when you lose respect from your teammates, well, you might as well go sell insurance like Tommy Maddox did back in the day. Teddy Bridgewater says, "Well, all right, I love you too." Then TJ, look, Teddy, I love you, man. Thank you for the $2, but we don't spare nobody. You know what I'm saying? Here on the State of the Saints podcast. I just give my honest opinion about situations. I ain't saying I'm right about it. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I like you. I'm rooting for you. I'm always gonna be rooting for you. I hope that you win more games than you lose with Carolina, except when you play the Saints. But I gotta call it for what it is, man. I don't think you would have took my team to the Super Bowl. I used to like old Jeff Blake before Aaron Brooks came. Yeah, I like Jeff Blake too, but around that time he was damaged goods, man. I mean, he played for Cincinnati, he had some good seasons with them, and then he ended up coming to the Saints, which before he got hurt wasn't too bad. But I think his best days were behind him. He probably would have gave the Saints maybe 1 or 2 good years, and probably would have been it. But I like Jeff Blake. Probably would have won some games for the Saints. I mean, they weren't terrible when he was the quarterback. I miss Will Smith. He was a good Saints player. Rest in peace, Will Smith, who played for the Saints. Yeah, Blank man. Will Smith definitely was an anchor on the defense for a long time. Always can count on him for a double-digit sack season. You know what I'm saying? And he was always a leader, man. It's unfortunate, man, that a person lost their life for such a crazy reason, man. I mean, a bumper, you know what I'm saying, a head-on, well, I don't say a head-on collision, but a bumper-to-bumper accident. Nobody really was hurt, you know what I'm saying? It was more like, excuse my French, a pissing contest. I hit you, you hit me. You know what I'm saying? We get out the car, and instead of, like, cooler heads prevailing, I just wish that we would have found a better way or found a solution, you know what I'm saying, to solve that problem, man. Now a young man is in jail for about 50 years. He had a daughter, I believe. I mean, the daughter has to grow up without a father, and Will Smith's kids have to grow up without their father, and a wife doesn't have a husband. So it's such a terrible situation, man. TJ, I was just playing about the Aaron Brooks being better. I know you was, Joe, but that just sent me on a little tangent, man. I'm fired up today. If y'all probably noticed, because first off, I didn't have a show yesterday, so my energy is like really high right now. And then I'm just kind of ticked off, man. You get like crazy comments and stuff like that. Like the last video that I put out was about CJ Gardner-Johnson, and people were like, oh man, it must be a slow day. You talking about a jersey and why this matter? I'm like, because it matters, because I care about it. You know what I'm saying? I care about it. Like, people want you to talk about Saints news, and they want you to be all serious all the time, and they want you to sit up here and talk about the Saints, you know what I'm saying, the same old song and dance. But that's not me, man. First off, I'm not wired like that. I like to have fun. You know what I'm saying? I like to talk about the Saints, but I also like to talk about topics that can make people laugh. And also I just feel like people's energy, you know what I'm saying, is horrible at times. Like, some people energy, like, they'll just come to like your YouTube channel or your Facebook page because they see you happy, they see you like what you're doing, and maybe they're just not happy in their life, so they like to take some of that negativity that they feeling and bring it on you. But I don't care, man. I enjoyed the topic. I actually enjoyed the CJ Gardner-Johnson conversation. I thought that was funny. I thought that I got some interesting perspectives on how people felt about it, and I'll do it again. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do something like that again. So be on the lookout for that. And if you don't like the topics, then change the channel. You don't like the show, change the channel. Archie Manning better than a lot of modern quarterbacks. Never had a good team. That's true. He always played with some trash. Offensive line was garbage, running for his life most of the time. If he was like a quarterback like Tom Brady or something like that, man, he would have got killed. Lucky he can scramble. Honestly, if he had offensive line, they probably would have been talking about him like they talk about Fran Tarkenton for the Minnesota Vikings. I already read that about Will Smith. Iceman said, I think the team responded to Teddy better. How can we look at a guy with 30 interceptions and have hope in him in a huddle? The answer is you can't. You don't know that. I've been in situations like that. If you're a professional, you do. If you're a professional, you do. And I'm pretty sure, the Saints, they hit up the leaders, you know what I'm saying, on the team. Let them know what they think about him being there. You don't think they did that? You don't think they hit him up and said, man, look, we're going to bring him in? Man, they know what's going on. And like I said, it's probably the best situation for him. And honestly, we're just looking at this like, who's to even say that Jameis Winston will ever take a snap with the Saints, except for garbage duty? Who's to say that? Drew Brees missed games for the first time in his entire career, and all of a sudden, like, now we looking at, man, Jameis might play this season. Jameis gonna play this season. We don't know that for sure. He may never, ever play a down for the New Orleans Saints. He only signed a 1-year contract. So who's to say he'll even play for the Saints? That's number one. But if he does, I mean, who's to say that 1 year wouldn't help him? You know what I mean? Who's to say by not being able to throw the ball down the field million gazillion times won't help Jameis Winston? Who's to say by having new coaches and teaching him to take what the defense give him might not transform his career? And also, I'm about to tell y'all something that you may not have known, okay? If you look at Drew Brees' stats, leaving San Diego, coming to New Orleans, him and Jameis Winston's stats are almost identical. So who's to say that it might not resurrect his career? You never know. You never know, folks. Never know. We need Donovan McNabb to play for the New Orleans Saints as a starting quarterback after Drew Brees leave. What do you think about that? I think that you trolling me, Brian. I think you're trolling me, my brother. Blank Man J5 said, you think Will Smith would be playing with the Saints if he didn't pass away? No, he wouldn't be playing with the Saints. He'll probably be retired by then. He'd be like 40-some years old. So no, I don't. Look, TJ, I may disagree with you, but I love your content and hope your channel grows. One of the real Saints YouTubes. Man, thank you very much, man. Look, I don't care if people disagree with me. Me and Iceman T never get along. Like, but I love Iceman T to death, man. You know what I'm saying? Iceman T has a very great perspective. You know what I'm saying? I respect his point of view. I don't look for people to agree with everything that I do. I hope not. That would suck. If everybody like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, TJ, that makes sense. I wouldn't want that. But, you know, that's just the way that I roll, man. As far as like growing the channel, I mean, that's not my overall goal. You know what I'm saying? Like my goal is not to grow the channel to be like huge or whatever. I feel like I just enjoy what I'm doing. And I feel like when people like may look at these videos, that's probably what they get out of me. That's the one thing I would hope that people get out of me, that I enjoy doing this, man. I feel like when people start focusing on numbers and follows and likes, like you turn your passion into an actual job. Like, I love doing this. Like, this is a passion. Talking about the New Orleans Saints, hearing your perspective, seeing your comments, like, that makes a world of difference to me. Like, if the channel grows in the process, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, if people like the channel, then cool. But I'm not driven like that. I'm not wired by that. I mean, I get people all the time, you don't want me to work on certain things with them. Like, oh, man, you can grow your channel. But I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, I don't want it to be to a point where I feel like I'm working. Okay, if everything else kind of comes, then fine. But I never want to lose sight of what's important, and that's y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the most important thing. You all are the most important thing to the State of Saints podcast. And I feel like that's a lost art when it comes to YouTubers and influencers, if you want to call them that. They make the shows about themselves, and they neglect the person that made them, you know what I'm saying, be in that position, which is the viewer. So I don't want to be that way. You know, that's why I don't mind. Like, I don't care about the bells and whistles. I don't care about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like, man, why you don't get this big old huge backdrop, and why you don't, like, man, bruh, I'm just a normal everyday guy, you know, and I just love the Saints, you know. So, like I said, if it grows, it grows. If it don't, then we have a lot of fun each and every day or every week. That's that's how I feel about it. TJ, I love your show. I'm a Saints fan from New York, so I don't have a lot of friends to chat with about the Saints. Your show always get me hyped for the season and keep me updated. Thank you. Man, thank you very much, Chanel. Thank you very much. Now, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all. You know, when I see people like Jared Poor, Kirion, Iceman T, Joe Dalton, Josh, you know, Annie come through the spot. You know, yeah, I mean, Brian. I mean, got people like that, you know, like that what makes my day. You know, I don't care about, you know, like, oh, man, I look at the video, oh, man, I only had these many views. Like, I'm not a prisoner of that. Like, as long as, like, I can interact with y'all, long as we can talk Saints, long as we can, you know, just have a good time for a few minutes, escape this crazy thing called life with everything going on in the world, I'm cool with that. And shouts out to my boy Invictus and Keen Arthur. And man, so many, man. I don't want to forget nobody's name, the regular people, you know what I'm saying, that come on. No disrespect to the people who, that I didn't mention, but I mean, there's so many people that make this show what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? And if you're new to this, man, hopefully, you can add to the fun. Man, what happened to Charles Grant? I used to like old Charles. Man, Charles Grant, he got old and retired, man. I think the last time I heard about Charles Grant, I think I seen him on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Casual Deck said, man, that's real. I always look forward to your show every day. And I look forward to y'all responses every day. Every time I do a show. Every time I do a show, I always look forward to y'all comments. Man, that's a love, man. I agree, but Teddy is better. I mean, that's your opinion. Let's change. Nothing wrong with that. I sent you a video, by the way. I'll check it out, Josh, when I'm done with this. I'll check it out, brother. Brian says, when the Saints won the first Super Bowl, did you go to the parade and celebrate, or were you home celebrating with your family? Honestly, at the time when the Saints won the Super Bowl, I was staying in Dallas, Texas, man. So I didn't go to the parade. I actually watched the game along with my brother, his wife at the time, and my two brothers and my brother's wife at the time. Like, we watched the game at his house. We enjoyed it, man. We celebrated, had a good time, and of course, man, it just made us feel good watching the New Orleans Saints, man. Watching something that we thought we would never see in a million gazillion years happen right in front of our eyes, man. So, I mean, it was a special moment. And, some of those plays that led to that moment, you still watch, still give you goosebumps. I mean, that 40-yard field goal by Garrett Hartley still gives me goosebumps. That interception pick six in the Super Bowl by Tracy Porter still gives your boy goosebumps. So, I mean, that's something that's going to never, ever go away unless they win another one, which I hope comes really, really soon. Let's see. I think Jameis has more potential. That's a good way of putting it, John. That's a good way of putting it. I guess, what I'm saying? I see why you would put it that way. That is a good statement right there. Being from Illinois, finally finding a good stream and host who appreciates the fan is awesome. Anthony, thank you very much, man. I do appreciate y'all. And that's not just lip service. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. That's just the way I feel, man. I ain't trying to kiss nobody behind or nothing like that. It's just how I feel. I look at YouTube shows, and I'm not talking about Saint shows or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I think all those guys do an outstanding job that do Saint shows, but I just feel like sometimes like the fan gets lost, the viewer gets lost in everything, and then it comes to a point where I just see like YouTubers like get real snappy at followers and viewers and stuff like that. And I get, they got trolls out there, and you got people out there that may mess with your psyche because they put stuff down in the comments, but you got to know how to differentiate the people that support you and held you down. Like, I can tell you right now, like Jared Poore, has been, I that's the first person I can just truly remember that has been following the state of the Saints. I don't know how long. And that's why, like I'm forever indebted to that. Keen Arthur, Josh came later on, like so many people, like that made this show and this podcast fun to do. And I think that you should never lose sight of that, no matter how big your channel grows, no matter how many people want you to promote their products on your channel, no matter how many t-shirts that you can finally sell, you got to go back and remember, and as big as this channel grows, the one thing that I remember 2011 having an apartment, trying to make this thing called broadcasting work, sitting in a closet with a whole bunch of clothes so I can keep out the background noise. I always remember that. So when I'm able to listen to myself, in the afternoons, or, when I'm riding in the car and people like, man, I hear you, I go back to that moment and I say, thank God. I thank God for that. I thank God that all the things that I've been through led me to this moment. So I never feel like, I'm way up here and everybody like, nah, man. I thank y'all. For real. You know, that's why, I read people comments. Rather I see super chat or not. I feel like that's something people need to start doing. I don't care if you donate money. You know what I'm saying? If you do, I appreciate it. But I'm still gonna give you the respect you deserve for taking your time out to spend it with yours truly, your boy. So thank you. John T, most definitely, I always say Teddy is more sure thing, but Jameis got all the potential. I be ripping them says, we ain't talk about my farts yet today. I be ripping them, man. Thank you very much, man. Shouts out to I be ripping them farts. I'm pretty sure it's a few fart jokes about to come through as well. If Marquise Callaway develops as a short and intermediate route runner, Trequan Smith in trouble. That leads me to my next point, Mike. We was going to talk a little bit about who's in trouble. Trequan Smith is in trouble, folks. Went home, got an opportunity to think about it. Took a day to figure out how I wanted to approach the show. When I came back today, Trequan Smith is in trouble. Okay, Trequan Smith, 3rd round pick, yeah, yada 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 yada, whatever. But he in trouble. Okay, he in trouble if he thinks that he's gonna come in, with his Saints duffel bag and his Saints, with his Saints stuff on, put it in his locker and be like, man, I'm the 3rd string wide receiver on the team. You got a lot of guys out here that want that spot. And when I'm looking at guys online, and I'm looking at guys out there training their ass off like Emmanuel Butler and Marquise Callaway, I'm looking at other guys, Jawan Johnson. Man, these guys out here, they want it. They want it bad. And I'm questioning how bad the Trequan Smith want it. When I'm looking at videos of you just lifting 20-pound dumbbells, right behind CJ Gardner-Johnson, I'm questioning your work ethic, my friend. I'm questioning the fact that you've been in the league going on your 3rd year and you still looking like, you got the legs, of an 11-year-old girl. Like I'm questioning that. I'm questioning your work ethic. I'm questioning your upper body strength. I'm questioning your route running skills. I'm questioning your heart. Because these young guys, man, they got swag. Okay, they got sauce. You get what I'm saying? Like they gonna come in like, who I gotta beat out? Who I gotta beat out to get this spot? Who? Trequan? Look, man, you my guy, but hey, bro, bills gotta get paid. You know what I'm saying? Daddy need a house. Mama needs some shoes. You know what I'm saying? Time to hustle hard. What you gonna do? You get what I'm saying? That's what they gonna do. So he better come with it, man. He better come with it, because the way that I look at it, he in trouble. He is in trouble. The first video I watched from you was Brandon Marshall getting cut. Okay, that was a while back too, Invictus. Thank you so much, man. It's been. I think I've done 418 episodes of this. 418 episodes. That's a lot, quite a bit. And what? I say about 2.5 years now, going on 3. I don't think so about Trequan Smith. He's a nice complimentary wide receiver. He never been a real number 2 legit wide receiver given the opportunity. I don't know, Dwayne. I don't know, man. It's looking rough right now. It's looking rough. Looking real rough. Hey, TJ, working today, working part-time. Yeah, man. Watching part-time, excuse me. Yeah, man. If you talking about, he said watching part-time, man. Me personally, man, like I am at work today. Technically, I'm on the air right now, which normally what I do is if I think that the show is probably gonna go a little longer on the live, then I'll pre-record like the first hour of my show, and then I'll do the rest of it live. So, because I want to, sometimes, I always have in mind, like, okay, if I come on at like 1 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be like, okay, man, I won't go about 45 minutes. But then people start sending in interesting questions, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I just kind of, pre-record like the first hour, and then I'll do live like the other 3 hours that I'm on the air. So y'all can check it out, man. It's radiobahai.us. Or you can check out WLGI.org. I'm actually on the air right now. Y'all can check it out. WLGI.org. I don't know if I can put it down in the chat. Nah, I don't think I can. But it's radiobahai.us, or you can WLGI.org. Those are the websites. Y'all can listen to me on the air from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trequan is just coasting. I definitely want Teddy over him. At least he fights. Okay. Are you talking about Teddy? You say you want Teddy over Jameis? Okay, I got you on that. Can you move an elite wide receiver that has gotten old to tight end? For example, Terrell Owens. It depends. Like that is a tough position to transition from. If you do that, you might want to get a guy young that started off as a wide receiver and transition them to a tight end. Late in their career, I don't know about that. You have to be one hell of a blocker to do that. State of the Saints, my favorite videos you did was with that team. Oh yeah, man. That was probably some of the most entertaining episodes I've done, according to other people. I kind of like Keith Kirkwood. Yeah, but the videos I did about that team, a lot of people like. I just like making that team fan base mad, which I think I have a knack for. If I can't do nothing, I can make that team fan base mad at me. Butler can't fart in the slant routes like I can. Trequan Smith. I don't know, man. Emmanuel Butler looking like some type of beast right now. You might be in trouble. TJ send me a State of the Saints podcast shirt with your autograph on it, so I'll be the first. When you get big, then you ready. Well, let me see. Then you are ready. Well, Joe, thank you very much. But Jared Poore has that honor of having the very first State of the Saints podcast T-shirt. So, but I'll make sure I send you one, man. I can do that. That's no problem. Just email me your information. I'll send you one. I can't send out 1 million shirts now, folks. He did ask me, okay? So I don't want people to be like, man, I want one too. I want one. No, look, second come, first serve. You know what I'm saying? Like. And maybe we'll do like some contests and stuff like that. As time go on, I pass out some T-shirts, but I want to make sure that I make that very, very clear. Don't sleep on Marquise Callaway. Sean Payton loves his Tennessee players. Look at Alvin Kamara and Shy Tuttle. Yeah, that's an interesting point right there. I never thought about that, Mike. Good point. Trequan Smith won't be our third string receiver. I don't think so either. That man in trouble, folks. Do you think we let Jared Cook go next year? Nope. I do because we drafted Trotman. Nope, don't care. Now you got yourself a 1-2 punch. You got yourself a on-the-field version of Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. That's what you got. So why would you want to let Gronk and Hernandez on the field go? I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, Trequan won't be our third. That's an excellent question. I truly think Marcus Colston could have an extended career if the Saints switch his position to tight end. Well, the interesting thing about that, Dwayne, when he was at Hofstra, he was actually a tight end, and he transitioned from tight end to wide receiver. So who's to say that he couldn't go back to that? And I'm still rocking the T-shirt, man. I appreciate that, man. Deuce McAllister has gained so much weight, so can use him on the O-line now. Yeah, that's true, man. Deuce, man, he definitely got about 8 chins now. He definitely do. Yeah, he definitely got about 8 chins. But, man, Deuce McAllister is a really nice guy, really friendly dude, man, solid cat. I remember my brother actually got his first car from his dealership out in Jackson before it went under. So, I mean, he good, solid dude, though. Thank you for all the Saints information. Good for folks like me working from home. Yeah, man, that's what I try to do, man. I try to give you all some good Saints news, make you laugh, man. Like, everybody so serious these days, man. Like, man, I'll never be too real for myself. Some people just, they start like getting a little following and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Start, button up their shirt to the top and, and looking down at the chat, and like I'm gonna take it upon myself to look down and see what you normal people gotta say to me. Whatever, man. Look, I'm gonna make this show fun. I'm gonna make it interesting. I think we all Saints fans. I think we all kind of on the same page when it comes to certain situations. You know, like we can analyze the Saints till we blue in the face, man. But sometimes it's good to laugh. Sometimes it's good to have a, just have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just sitting up here like, oh man, like man, they suck, this suck. Like I ain't nah, bro. We good. We good. Have some fun in the process of being able to talk about your favorite team is the key. Emmanuel Butler better than Trequan. That remains to be seen, Mike. Let's not go that far now. Let's see what he got in training camp, and then maybe we will be able to have a different conversation. Deontay Harris is better than Trequan. It's starting to look that way. Okay, it is starting to look that way because he is emerging from what I've seen to be a Saints playmaker. And he tough. And he fearless. For a guy that's 182 pounds, he's fearless. Dude's a pretty underrated running back. If you aren't a Saints fan, then you probably don't know how good he did. Yep, that's true. He was really good. Hell, Ty Montgomery might be better than Trequan. He was a wide receiver before he became a running back. That's why he wear 88. And looking at them routes and how big and physical that dude is, I don't know, man. It's looking very interesting, but I'm pretty sure the Saints are probably going to have him doing some things kind of similar to Alvin Kamara. TJ, my best friend from West Wego, Louisiana, goes fishing with Pat Squillen quite often. That's pretty dope, man. I mean, going fishing with a Saints legend, man, I'm envious of that. Your videos take me back to early 2010 YouTube. Man, I appreciate that. I just try to do that, man. Like, I don't know. I just think that people just miss out on a great experience by just looking too deep into it. Like, I try to give you all the best experience I can, but it has nothing to do with me trying to be big league, Like, when I change up, like, different programs and stuff like that, or you see, like, backgrounds, or I experiment with different things, it's just to give you all a better experience. Like, I don't try to just, me personally, I don't think background and all that kind of stuff, like, makes you know the team anymore, any less. I don't. It's cool though. Like, man, you want to do the backdrops and all that kind of stuff. It's cool, man. I mean, that's great if you can put yourself in that position and that's what you're into. But I like my shows to resemble my personality. Like, I'm a everyday guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I do, after I leave the station, I go pick up my son from daycare every day. We go home, we watch Lil Baby Bum, you know what I'm saying? I hear them same old 10 songs. I hang out with him till my girl get off around 8 p.m. She's a nurse practitioner. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we eat a little dinner, we talk about her day, we talk about my day, and then we go to sleep. Or if I tell her, like, oh, okay, babe, you know what I'm saying? Like, after she gets out the shower, I'm going to do a show. I'm an everyday guy, folks. That's just me. So I like my shows to resemble that. I'm just not like a flashy guy, and just never been. I get my shirts from Walmart and Target, This shirt I got on right now, you know what I'm saying, I got from Montgomery, Alabama, from the National Museum of Social Justice, Like, I'm an everyday guy. I like, like the same things you all like, So why shouldn't my show resemble that? Adam Trotman's highest ceiling is George Kittle and Rob Gronkowski. Yep, that's how I feel about it. Pending injury, of course. TJ, do you think we have any glaring position weaknesses, and who would you sign to address them? Daquez Denard at the cornerback position, Everson Griffin at the defensive end position, the David Clowney if he's not asking for too much money, and I will concede to all those in the Who Dat Nation that bring his name up anytime we talking about this. But Clay Matthews, he probably can help. With the young linebackers, I think he'll be able to help in a pass rush. So those are the positions I feel like, or people that can come in and can contribute. Those are the guys that I can think of. I love Mark, but we just didn't have enough money, but I miss him a lot. Anthony, that is not true. That is definitely not true. The Saints had enough money to get him. His agent messed them over, you know. But when you're looking at it in hindsight, um, you know, did he really mess him over? I mean, Mark Ingram had his best statistical season last season with the Baltimore Ravens. So, but if we're talking about money, his agent told him not to answer the phone for Sean Payton. Sean Payton didn't get no answer from Mark Ingram, so he decided to move on with Latavius Murray. So his agent is the reason why Mark Ingram is no longer with us, not so much about the money. Latavius Murray can play the Mark Ingram role very well if he gets more carries. It has a lot to do with the fact that Latavius Murray isn't a Saints guy. He's not a Sean Payton guy. That's all it is. Sean Payton likes his guys, the guys he drafted, the guys he bring in, the guys that he considers, you know what I'm saying, to be, you know, I want to show everybody how great I am as a coach. So I got this guy nobody heard of that came from this school, and now look at him, he tearing the league up, you know. Latavius Murray, that's what hurts him, is the fact that he's not a Sean Payton guy. But he definitely can do some of the things that Mark Ingram does. I don't blame Ingram for asking for more money. He has a big family and will have a short career since he's a running back. That's a good point. Don't mind that. I don't get mad at guys with negotiating money, because if it came down to it and you're at your job, you know, if you're at your job, man, you feel like you working hard and you want to raise. You know, you won't want nobody, you know, telling you how much is enough. You know, it's for real. I feel like sometimes, man, we look at these guys and they're larger than life. And, you know, we have a tendency of like, man, if it was me, you know, I would, you know, but I don't know, man. The running back position is one of those positions where you only get maybe like 1 or 2 big paydays. You ain't getting no more than that. If you're a high draft pick, you might get a bigger payday, and then after those 5 years, then you'll probably get a bigger payday. Sorry, it's not that we didn't have enough money. Yeah, it's just that it wouldn't have been smart to keep him when they're cheaper. I don't agree with that. The Saints definitely missed Mark Ingram's presence last season. I really believe that. I'm not even going to take that away from Mark. They definitely missed his presence. You know, it's not so much about production sometimes. I mean, production is important. Yes, it is. It's the number one thing, but it's also a presence, man. Sometimes, like when you lose that presence, it can hurt a team. And I feel like that probably would have helped the Saints down the stretch, because Sean Payton drafted Mark Ingram. And I feel like maybe he probably would have ran the football a little bit more, because he trusts Mark since he drafted him in 2011. So maybe they probably would have ran the football more against the Minnesota Vikings. Who knows? And then I also feel like, man, he should have used Latavius more. Latavius, I'm pretty sure he was motivated, man. For a team to get rid of you, let you go, why wouldn't you want to get revenge on that team? TJ, tell Who That Nation not to act like they were all the Mark Ingram 5-6 years ago and they thought he was a bust. He just started really producing when Alvin got there on the team, the year before. Yeah, man, Mark Ingram is a motivated running back. You know what I'm saying? He's motivated. Like when he's motivated, he's hard to stop. That's why, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. This may sound crazy, but I used to enjoy when Mark Ingram used to fumble the football once or twice in the game. Now, not when it like cost the team, but I know the next week we gonna get angry Mark Ingram, and angry Mark Ingram is pretty damn good. So when Alvin Kamara came in, and say drafted him, he was like, okay, that kind of made him realize, okay, they ain't draft a running back in a long time. I think I got to step it up. So iron sharpens iron. Ingram started producing probably like 2015. I agree with that. I definitely agree the team chemistry took a hit when he left, and Alvin were definitely great friends. I mean, they still great friends. I mean, I see like they visit each other like before the pandemic, pre-pandemic. I seen like Alvin Kamara getting on a plane, head out to Baltimore to visit Mark Ingram. So, man, they still friends. I mean, just because guys don't play no more don't mean they can't hang out. But still, that guy, you roll up to the facility, you're gonna see him every day. Probably after practice, y'all won't hang out, come by the house, maybe play a video game, watch some TV, watch some film together. So, yeah, Mark Ingram and his agent were being petty. Yep, Mark Ingram signed for 500,000 more of what the Saints offered him. They would have gave him that. They would have gave him that. But I for real didn't know that about his agent. That's my bad. Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. Like, he told him not to answer the phone. Wanted him to, play hardball. And I'm like, you end up not even getting the number that you wanted in Baltimore. And then Baltimore just signed they just drafted a running back that they feel like gonna end up replacing Mark Ingram. So, very interesting. But honestly, I don't think that we've seen the last of Mark Ingram. That's just my honest opinion right there. Probably towards the tail end of his career, we might see him back in the Saints uniform. Maybe it'd be for like a encore presentation. But I don't see him not being with the Saints anymore. I'm definitely sure he's gonna retire with the Saints. Marcus Davenport needs to step it up. Now, Marcus Davenport needs to stay healthy. Okay, that's what he needs to do. He needs to stay healthy. I think he does a great job at what he does. He just doesn't do it long enough throughout a 16-game season. TJ, do we have enough cap space to get AK contract done, signed Denard and Griffin? Probably not both of those guys, but you can sign Alvin Kamara. You can sign Alvin Kamara, and you can, get rather Everson Griffin or Denard. Depends on how much money they get, because you have to understand, folks. Even though they do these contracts, he still will be playing on the contract that's going into this year. His new contract wouldn't affect the cap until next year. Okay, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. Okay, so if the Saints do sign somebody, this will apply to the $10 million that they have available right now. So yeah, they can realistically they can sign Everson Griffin and sign Kamara and crew. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna wait to sign Ramczyk and Lattimore, since they gave him 50 options. Davenport played pretty well when he healthy. His last 2 games last year were so good. Yeah, they were. People forget he basically blocked the field goal versus the Panthers in the final minutes. Yep, when he jumped over the top. How do you feel about Trey Hendrickson? I think Trey Hendrickson is a good, solid pass rusher. He reminds me of Wolf from the Denver Broncos, who now play for the Baltimore Ravens. Just a guy that comes in, that's a part of the rotation, and does a really good job. I think that just like he was at Florida Atlantic, he had some injuries. Derek Wolf, thank you. I couldn't think of his first name. Thank you so much. Derek Wolf. He reminds me of Derek Wolf. And not the fact that Derek Wolf is white and he's white. Okay, I just look at the guys like they kind of got the same similar skill set. As far as like them being able to get to the quarterback, they both do some great things. But like I said, back at Florida Atlantic, he had issues with being hurt, and he had issues with his behavior, which I think he kind of cleared up a little bit. I mean, he got married this off season, and I think that he does a great job, man. But I think he might end up going to another team, man, and end up being a starter. I think so. So he had the best coverage in that Vikings game. Who had the best coverage? Oh, that's not true. Marcus Williams had some of the best coverage, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what we're talking about with that. I'm not sure. I may have missed that. He's one of the best safeties last year. Marcus Williams is one of the best safeties in the league. I don't care what nobody say. I ain't about to let 2017, I ain't about to let Minneapolis Miracle and a couple, misplays, determine that man not good. That man one of the best young safeties, and he is the best young safety to come into the league the last 3 years. I mean, look it up, okay? Women lie, men lie, numbers don't, okay? Analytically, this man is good. Now, you can talk about, well, he gave up that play in the 4th quarter of the game. Don't care. Man is a solid safety. That man is a solid safety. And And compared to what the Saints had back there, y'all have to admit that is definitely an upgrade. I ain't about to let a couple plays define that man. He is a really good safety, and if the Saints were to lose him, they'll be missing out on something very, very special. Dude was a good player, good ball hawk, smart guy, good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to work on his tackles, but he has really good instincts. So I just think that he needs confidence and he needs to work on his tackling. If you're talking about the missed tackle, he was the reason we got in the game in the 2017 with the interception. Thank you very much. But people forget that. They don't remember the interception. Darren Sharper was the best safety the Saints ever had. Yeah, in a small sample size, but the best safety the Saints ever had was Sammy Knight. That's my opinion. The best safety the Saints ever had is Sammy Knight. Okay, in a small sample size, Darren Sharper, yes. Okay, he did have 9 interceptions in 2009, but then all of a sudden he kind of fell off the cliff for the last 2 seasons that he was with the Saints. So overall, the best safety the Saints ever had was Sammy Knight. Don't at me. Sammy Knight was the best. Sammy Knight was the best safety the Saints ever had. Somebody please put up a better safety than Sammy Knight. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on that. Darren Sharper was really good for the Saints, but I'm talking about, like, I don't consider Darren Sharper as a true Saint. I look at him as a mercenary Saint. Okay, a true Saint to me was a person that, a cornerstone player. A person, when you think about the Saints, when you think about the earlier 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Sammy Knight, Leroy Glover, Joe Johnson, Norman Hand, Mark Fields, those are the guys that you think of, like, right then and there, that right off the cuff, like, okay, man. Those are the guys that you think of when you think about Saints football when it comes to the defense. Right off the bat. Okay, then you go into Pat Swilling and Von Johnson and Ricky Jackson, but he's in that number. All right, but man, we about to go ahead and head up out of here. Josh and Jesus say he gotta go do some homework too, man. I feel you on that. I'm about to go ahead and finish up the second half of of my show. Like I said, y'all check it out, WLGI.org. That's where you can hear the afternoon groove. But thank y'all, man. I appreciate this. It's been very fun. I enjoyed myself. Hope you did too. If you have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. Continue to send your questions in, stateofthesaints@gmail.com. And also you can inbox on State of the Saints Podcast on Facebook. Y'all have a good day. Hope everybody be safe out there, man. Y'all take care. Till next time. All I got to say is, who dat?